Hi, I'm Scoot, and welcome to Scoot on the Air YouTube channel. So, Saturday night, I was at the James Taylor Jackson Browne concert at the Smoothie King Center here in New Orleans. Throughout my long radio career, at the beginning of my radio career, I was in music radio, and now I do a talk radio show on WWL. But throughout my career, I've seen a lot of concerts, and I've gotten to the point where I've started to review concerts more frequently than in the past. And I'm so appreciative of concerts being back. One of the things that I missed most during the pandemic was going to concerts. The anticipation, the thought of going there and the the excitement of everybody coming together for the same purpose. You sharing all of this with people you don't even know, but all of these people together in this giant arena. You're sharing this artist, this love of this particular music. And I really miss that, and it's so great to have that back. And I want to, I just want to say that it's very comforting for boomers to see the stars from the past still performing and kicking it today. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, I hope you will become a subscriber. Scoot on the Air YouTube, and we give you a personal notice every time we post something live. On my radio show before the concert, the week before the concert, I was talking about how, okay, I'm going to Jackson Browne, James Taylor. Jackson Browne's the opening act, but to be honest with you, I'm more interested in Jackson Browne than James Taylor. That was what I thought going into the concert. I left with opposite feelings. I really enjoyed Jackson Browne, but he didn't play a couple of big songs. Like, he didn't play Somebody's Baby. I didn't hear Tender in the Night. Um, and I didn't hear Stay, the cover of the Maurice Williams song from 1960. And Stay was a big hit for Jackson Browne. So I missed those songs. Also, I think Jackson needs to shave off the white goatee that he has, because it just makes him look a little older. But his voice was great. I mean, he was Jackson Browne. So I enjoyed Jackson Browne. However, I enjoyed James Taylor even more. Not only did I enjoy James Taylor more than I thought I would, I enjoyed him more than Jackson Browne. James Taylor had this calm, positive aura about him. And he has a great relationship with the audience, which he develops. He talks to the audience, he brings you in, he tells you stories about his songs. It's really like watching an episode of The Storytellers from VH1 in the past. And I liked hearing the stories. They didn't go on too long. He didn't ramble. But the stories made you pay more attention to the lyrics. So when he got to a song like Fire and Rain, which he didn't tell the story about fire and rain, but because of his storytelling, you were focused on the lyrics. And when James Taylor sang, I've seen fire and I've seen rain. I've seen sunny days that I thought would never end. I've seen lonely times when I could not find a friend, but I always thought that I would see you again. Think about how many of us can relate to fire and rain because we've been through it. And I couldn't help but think about how much more those lyrics mean to James Taylor and the audience today than when James Taylor wrote that song when he was young. And when that song was first on the radio, when we were hearing it, we didn't have the reference we have today about experiencing fire and rain and those sunny days that you thought would never end, only to realize that there are lonely times when you couldn't find a friend. So I thought about how much more the lyrics mean today and how they stand up over time and how meaningful they are today. So, I mean, I just enjoyed it. The crowd there was awesome. I mean, there were people, honestly, there were people there seeing James Taylor and Jackson Browne, they were with walkers. They had walkers. There were seniors, a lot of seniors. There were fathers with a son or a daughter, presumably to share their music with their son or daughter. And then also to maybe feel like they're showing their son or daughter music that's better than the stuff that they listen to today, which fathers and mothers think today is kind of like, shit. So they maybe wanted to show them, okay, this is real good music. You need to listen to this. Hopefully the kids enjoyed it. I also saw people who were part of a younger generation, and a younger generation that, they the the prime moments of Jackson Browne and James Taylor were long over when some of the young people in the audience were coming of age. So they missed the firsthand experience with James Taylor and Jackson Browne, but they seemed to enjoy the concert. And there was one older gentleman who was so moved by the music of James Taylor that he got up in the aisleway, the aisle on the floor, the middle aisle, and he was dancing up and down, and it was almost like he had choreographed this thing. I think the applause at the end of the song were as much for him as they were for James Taylor singing the song. So the crowd was the crowd was really great. Um, I felt a really positive and comforting spirit about James Taylor. James Taylor and Jackson Browne are both 73 years old, and this is what I love about seeing these concerts. And I've talked about this when I've seen Chicago. I talked about this when I saw Eric Clapton, even though I was a little disappointed in the Eric Clapton concert because he was just so cold, no reaching out to the audience. But when I see somebody like James Taylor and Jackson Browne performing, it just makes you realize how important it is to see them still doing their thing. And we're still going to their concerts along with other people. And it really gives you reassurance that, maturing, it's okay. And you don't have to change who you are. Okay, James Taylor's bald. So what? He's still James Taylor. And there was this very tall GQ type model guy on stage singing background with James Taylor. It turned out to be his son, Henry. And I can tell you, he wasn't just on the stage because James Taylor was his father. He was on the stage because he's good. And the gestures that they made to each other made more sense after JT introduced him as his son, Henry. So I thought the ending of the show was really profound. I've never seen an ending of a show kind of like this. So I think "How Sweet It Is to Be Loved by You." I think that was the last song that he played in the regular set. So then James Taylor and the band. By the way, an excellent band. Individually, all great musicians. Collectively, a wonderful band that knew how to play soft rock and still make it feel like it's rock. And James Taylor and everybody, they leave the stage. The lights are still down. You can still see the lights on the lamps and the guitar on the amps and the guitars and stuff. And then you see these stage crew members scurrying around the stage checking it. So an encore's coming up. You know it's coming. And so then they come back on stage and the crowd was applauding the whole time. So then they come back on stage and they do a couple of more songs. And then the unheard of. It's over. And James Taylor has not sung "You've Got a Friend." Is he not gonna sing this song? James Taylor and the whole band, in fact, he invited Jackson Browne on stage. Um, Jackson Browne and James Taylor did the song "Take It Easy," one of the early Eagles hits, which was, co-written by Jackson Browne when he was with the Eagles early in his career. Some of you may not have known that, but Jackson Browne was one of the Eagles very early in his career, then went solo. So the concert ends, the lights come up, and James Taylor and all the members of the band, they all come together, hold hands, and bow. That is a sign the concert is over. That's a sure sign that's it. But he hasn't done "You've Got a Friend" yet. So after the bowing, holding it, well, they kind of leave, or it looks like they're leaving, and then JT goes and whispers in the ear of every person on the stage, as if to say, "We're not done. We have to do one more." And he did "You've Got a Friend." And then again, the chorus line of JT, Jackson Browne, and everybody. And Jackson Browne was on stage for "You Got a Friend" as well. The chorus line of people at the front of the stage, bowing, and then they leave, and then James Taylor does one more song, just he and his son. And there was just such a warm feeling about that concert, such a positive feeling. And I wrote a blog, which is it's posted on the WWL Radio website. Go to wwl.com. Up in the left hand corner, there's shows. Click on shows, and then click on Scoot, Scoot, and that'll take you to the Scoot page, and the blog and other blogs that I've written are there. But I ended by simply saying that I know I'm not alone when I say that I left the concert feeling very positive, but also enlightened, and once again rekindled the sense that the inevitable maturing process in life can be more of a celebration than a depressing thought. And that's my review of the James Taylor concert. You can leave your messages and your comments, and I will respond to them as quickly as I can. If I don't get to you right away, I'm still gonna get to you. So hang in there. And thank you for joining me here on the Scoot on the Air YouTube channel. I hope you do subscribe, and you can take a look at some of the other videos that we've done. I had a great interview with John Lodge of the Moody Blues that is posted on here, and some other interesting interviews. You can go back to some of the early ones where I share with you some of the truth behind the microphone in my long career in radio. And join me on my radio show tomorrow on WWL in New Orleans. And you can download the app Odyssey, Audacy. Type in WWL, and you've got our show, or if you got the phone. Or go to the website, WWL.com, and stream it there, or listen to WWL in New Orleans. And I do hope you become a subscriber so we can give you a little notice every time we post something. Thank you.